Quality is a habit. Quality assurance and quality enrichment is a continuous process, and we all, the higher education institutions, lives in it. Considering this, IQAC Internal Quality Assurance Cell RMTU in association with LND Learning and Development Corporate AISECT Limited organized this one-day national seminar on quality enhancement initiatives to achieve excellence. It's indeed a pleasure for all of us to have the benign presence of Dr. Sandeep Sancheti sir, Vice Chancellor, Marbury University, in our campus, who will be delivering his address on the topic Quality Enhancement Initiatives to Achieve Excellence. Once again, a warm welcome to sir with a huge round of applause. The man behind it and the person behind the quality assurance and sustenance with us, the chairperson of IQAC, we all welcome our dearest Professor Rajnikant sir, Vice Chancellor Rabindranath Tagore University, with a huge round of applause. We have on stage Dr. Sanjeev Gupta sir, the Dean Academic Affairs, and taking care of the quality measures, especially in the curriculum enrichment and the teaching learning, which is a prime job of the Dean Academic Affairs. Somehow, Padmeshwar missed to sit on the stage, sir. I request you to please be on the stage. Your dice is here. Padmesh Chaturvedi, sir, who is actively coordinating this event from the day one. A huge round of applause for Padmesh, sir. He's the academic coordinator of Internal Quality Assurance Cell. I also welcome the entire academic fraternity sitting before me, deans, respected deans, HODs, deputy registrars, and all the faculty members who are sitting here, and also the members from the Scope Global Skill University who are here with us, also from the AISECT Limited. Archana Madam is here with us, the head of the L&D. And also, sir, I would like to highlight here that we have online participation of all the majority of the faculty members. So far, we have 40 plus participants online, and eventually people are joining. So we have 6 universities. So ISECT group of university welcomes you because they are here with the online presence, and thanks to this ICT, so that we can say that this session is not on offline mode, it's a hybrid mode, offline and online. Welcome ISECT group of university faculty members, senior officials who have joined online via Zoom. Once again, welcome to all of you. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Vidyam Rupena Sanskrita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. हम किसी भी कार्यक्रम का विधिवत शुभारंभ बिना मां सरस्वती के चरणों में पुष्प अर्पण किए बिना नहीं करते। मैं मंचासीन अतिथिगणों से अनुरोध करूंगी कि वो कृपया दीप प्रज्वलित कर इस कार्यक्रम का विधिवत शुभारंभ करें। I invite respected dean members who are sitting in the first row, deputy registrars, and welcome to our guest of the day, Dr. Sandeep Sancheti sir. हमारे विश्वविद्यालय प्रांगण में सर का बहुत बहुत स्वागत, अभिनंदन। संजीव सर, request Sanjeev sir to please give this welcome to our Honorable Vice Chancellor sir, Professor Rajnikant sir. Thank you, sir. As we all know, higher education is going in a transformative way with an emphasis on the development of creative potential of everyone. Various accreditation and ranking frameworks and the system will be definitely changed, but the parameters and the key parameters will remain the same. How to ensure the quality in all those parameters is the talk of the day, and as I said, indeed we are privileged to have two eminent speakers in this regard. Before I invite our Honorable Vice Chancellor to enlighten us with the importance of this accreditation and ranking framework, permit me to share certain credentials of our university, Rabindranath Tagore University, formerly known as AISECT University. And fortunately, Sancheti sir was a part of the Vice Chancellor Central Zone meeting which we hosted in the year 2017. Sir was here with us in the same auditorium, and many of the Vice Chancellors were there who have given their deliberations. As a university continuously working with a vision to promote the science, technology, art, culture, entrepreneurship, we all know that. And talking about the growth, we are trying to have all the aspects in line with the national and international goals, and we are trying to support the students in a holistic way. We talk about the accreditation and ranking, so we always say this very loudly, that in Central India, our university is the first university who is consecutively securing National Institutional Ranking Framework since 5 years. I think we can have a round of applause. And this year also, under the able guidance of Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, we are aiming to secure the such more good grade into it. As we know that NIRF and NEC are the two epitome ranking and accreditation measures we are looking forward. Sir, I would like to highlight once again the most important achievement of the present time. Recently, we have received the accreditation of ICAR. Congratulations to the Agriculture Department and the entire university and the administrative system for supporting this. So, if you see NIRF, if you see NEC accredited, if you see ICAR, we all are working on it, and we are working continuously to achieve these accreditations and to be, try to be on the top of it. I also would like to underline on this platform that couple of months back we secured sir NAC A grade in our one of the first university, Dr. C.V. Raman University, Bilaspur. That is also calling around the applause. So by all these things, I just want to highlight this, that we as a group under the able leadership of Honorable Chancellor Sir and with his blessings, we are working towards the quality assurance and sustenance. But as I said, that continuous guidance is required. What is happening around us and how we can enrich our quality, it is always required to have the words from the galaxy of the intellect. So in this regard, to begin the seminar talk, I request now Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir to please share his words of wisdom, sharing the importance of accreditation and ranking framework in higher education. I request you, sir, please.
On the dais, my friend Dr. Sandeep Sancheti, who has been very kind to have accepted the invitation, and thank you so much for being here. On the dais, our colleagues from RNTU, and off the dais, all the deans, heads and staff member, non-teaching staff members of RNTU, and the respected vice chancellors and registrars, deans and faculty from all the AISECT group of universities who are connected with us through online mode. Today, friends, you are not going to listen to me, much. Today is the day when we have to all listen to Dr. Sancheti's viewpoint about accreditation. I think when Dr. Sancheti and myself, we started our journey, there never used to be, such kind of frameworks at the national level like NAC or NIRF. But still, the country was able to produce many luminaries in the fields. If we have to, give the example of C.V. Raman or our late Dr. Kalam, I think they have not come from any ranking-based institutions. But since the world is racing against time, and rather I would say that we all are trying to go ahead of time, so therefore this so-called competition has come to find a place in our educational system as well, and that is why this NIRF and NAC processes have been put in place by the government of India and some international agencies as well, like QS and others. Professor Sancheti, I would like to tell you that this RNTU is one of the 6 universities which fall under the umbrella of AISECT group of institutions. AISECT stands for All India Society for the Electronics and Computer Technologies. And we have 3 universities in Madhya Pradesh and 1 each in Bihar, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand. So 3 universities are named as C.V. Raman universities, and similarly others are also placed like that. And as Madam Sangeeta has just now said that Dr. C.V. Raman University, Bilaspur has got the A grade, and we too at RNTU have tightened our belts, and we are due to be aiming ourselves for assessment and accreditation by NAC. Probably, I think we are waiting for the second second methodology that is likely to hit the Indian academia in June or so, the binary system of evaluation. I think we would like to be, examined under that category, how the rules are going to be framed and what all parameters are going to be there for assessment. That is, time will unfold. I would like to tell you that please don't ask any question about the second process, that is the binary process, because Dr. Sancheti happens to be one of the members of the team who is responsible for designing the formalism for level 2. I mean the second stage, like second alternative to the first NAC assessment criteria. So therefore, not taking much time and not coming much in between you and Dr. Sancheti, I request Professor Sancheti to kindly share his vision and mind and give some words of wisdom to all of us, so that the preparations which we have already made, our faculty is able to enrich the database and look for the gaps which still remain unfilled. Dr. Sancheti, the dais is yours.
Thank you, sir. But I'm just snatching out 2 minutes because as we have such an eminent personality with us, I just would like to say some of the credentials of sir, because I have seen the profile is too big to read here, but still some key points to highlight before I give this dice to sir. As we all know that sir is holding a position of Vice Chancellor of Marwari University. He is having a remarkable 34 plus years of experience in the field of higher education in the domains of teaching, research and administration. Sir has been one of the longest serving Vice Chancellor of the country and has headed all major higher education institutes like Institute of National Importance, government and private state universities and deemed universities. Sir has also served MNIT Jaipur for more than 22 years and MBM Engineering College for more than 6 years and he's also serving many professional bodies like SPIC-MACA, FICCI, CII, FCI, and many more, NEC. And as sir has already mentioned, that sir was the member of that committee which is working on the binary. His immense contribution to higher education has got him to hold the most designated position in numerous private education institutions, and he has held varied positions, and also he is a member of many of the bodies. His ceaseless endeavor and hard work of 34 plus years made him the worthy bearer of numerous awards, including the recipient of Commonwealth Scholarship and Fellowship under Colombo Plan, CERC Fellowship from DST, and many more.
That all of you need to go through that. There is no harm. And it's not a rocket science that you have complex formulas there talking about that, but it's talking about general things from past to present to future. And therefore it will be like a story. You'll probably form an image in your mind that what this whole thing is about and why this is changing and how this is changing. I think it's very important when you learn something, it should go into your mind that why am I doing it? How is it going to be useful to me? Things of that nature. So once you read that report, possibly you will find that you'll be more interested and you'll deeply understand the processes as and when they come or they become public. Difficult to measure and quantify is a challenge in many cases of quality, which is very, very well known. And especially if it comes to binary, it becomes even more difficult. If it's a graded, I think it becomes easy that you can do 10 level grading, 5 level grading, 4 level grading, it's fine. But when it comes to binary is 0 or 1, yes or no, right or wrong, something like that, pass or fail, whatever you call it. Okay, satisfactory, unsatisfactory, it becomes very difficult because the boundaries can be very, very thin. That I'm 0.51 and I get yes and you are 0.49 and you get no. I think there is a heart burning because there is not much of difference between the two. And secondly, on a given assessment, I would be 0.49 and you will be 0.51. Such vagaries of assessments remain, and therefore those challenges remain. 3 C's of quality. By the way, I'm not an expert on that, but way back in 2006 when I was interviewed for the directorship of NITK Surathkal, I was asked this question by the panel and I didn't have an answer for that. And I had to say no, that I don't know what are the 3 C's of quality. And from then onwards, I have tried to kind of figure out what are these. These may be slightly old-fashioned terms for quality, completeness, correctness, and clarity. Maybe there are advanced definitions, so you may find many P's and many M's and many other things for quality, but keep finding. You understand it in your own way is what I'm trying to say. I'll also possibly come out with my statement, which are 5 P's, let's say, in the end. So those are different things, but these are 3 C's of quality. And now I'm saying we are increasingly becoming quality conscious. Anything or everything in our life, whether we are buying clothes or shoes or going to a restaurant to eat food, we look at the rating, look at the quality, look at the reliability, look at the performance, various things which are related to quality only. All right? And therefore, we are becoming quality conscious. Initially, when we have nothing, we are deprived of something, then we say, okay, whatever is there, we will take it. Chalta hai, we'll have. I'll have my first car, it should have 4 wheels and it should run and have a shelter on my head, it's fine. But the moment I have that car for a year or two and I can afford better one, I'll possibly say, nahi, uska efficiency ye hona chahiye, naya hona chahiye. Then I'll say, no, usme AC hona chahiye, falana hona chahiye, music system hona chahiye, navigation hona chahiye, ye hona chahiye, sunroof hona chahiye. Maybe the accident के लिए आपका जो भी कार के provisions हैं वो होने चाहिए. So we keep improving our aspirations, and that is how you can say that we become more increasingly quality conscious. Given a choice, most of you would want your wards to good institutions which you think are good, and good is because of quality, not because they are situated in Chennai or Delhi or Bombay. They are good because of their quality is what you assess, and therefore it's important. Attaining quality requires more efforts, time and money, that's for sure. You are avoiding any of these 3 elements, you are sure to fall down. A thing which is stabilized only on two pairs or 2 pegs, you can say possibly will be less stable compared to 3. If there can be more added to that, probably it will be more stable, is what I would say. And those who defines the benchmarks early are the winners. If there are things which are not defined, which are not known, which are not having quality standards, if you are able to define it, you will be a winner, let me tell you. And this happens in industry very much. An industry setting up a pattern, setting up a standard, telling this is the quality benchmark, something like that, becomes the industry standard very soon. If they have taken lead and done research in that, others are made to follow, and therefore they become the follower. And this has always happened in the electronic industry, to which I belong very, very strongly, that the race of setting the standards makes the quality benchmarks. They themselves make the quality benchmarks, and therefore they become the winner. So if there is a gray area and you do not know what is a quality benchmark, then probably you should set the tone, and that's how you can achieve better results. SDG is one such area where things are still gray. What you have done, how much of carbon emission you have reduced, how much of water reuse you have done, maybe double, triple. A lot of people claim that I don't put any water outside the campus, fine. But maybe that's 100% use. But I can do a double, triple use, and I can make the efficiency much more. So you can define what you want to do, and that's how the quality can be improved upon. Okay, these points are partly known to all of you. Some were made a mention of that. Who does it? I think formally in education system, what we know is NAC, NBA, NIRF, QS, THE. These are the formal agencies. The QS and THE being the outside one. The QS is an offshoot of THE, which was there. Earlier they were probably the same agency, but later they got separated. And there can be many more which are Shanghai rankings and whatnot, various other things are there. When it comes to a little away from that, ARIA is a new ranking which we have our own thing for the innovation and research related by the Government of India. And I'm very proud to tell you that I was a recipient of one of the, I think, second rank in the country for my SR, and I received the award from the President at that particular point of time, purely because of the contributions of the faculty whom I led there. Then, of course, very popular media rankings are there. Universities themselves rank, particularly the technical universities. In many states have started ranking their institutions, so they themselves rank. And then, of course, ISO also gives some quality benchmarks when it comes to processes, and ISO, like some agencies, will be more and more new standards are there, though they may not be fully applicable to us, but they still exist. And the rankings can be in the domain of pure academics, which mostly universities does, pure research and innovation, which ARIA does, and SDG, which generally QS and THE has started doing. And when it comes to combination of all that, or rather minus SDG, you can say that it's NBA and NAC, that's generally the combination of first three, academic, research and innovation. So they decide their framework. We cannot curse them, we cannot tell them why you have done that. You will be surprised to know that in some of the international rankings of QS and THE, if I have a paper which is a collaborative paper from a neighboring, let's say, country, or maybe some other country, the weightage for that paper, the credit for that paper may be something like 4 to 8 times higher than the paper done by a partnership within the institution or within the country also. That is a kind of, now they have made the framework because they think that's very important. I can make my own framework. If people like it, they will follow it. And that is what India is trying to do. India says, okay, QS and THE are good, but they are not taking care of our own, let's say, aspect of internationalization, because we are much more than a single Europe. Europe may have so many countries and they get the full credit, and we, with so many states, don't get the credit. So that's why the emergence of NAC and refined NAC and NIRF and everything has come. So out of these two things which I have called rankings and ratings, what do you like most? Can you just shout out and tell me what is your answer? Do you like rankings or you like ratings? Quick, if you can. It's still not loud enough. Can you be a little louder? Rankings. Now I'm quite surprised to know that. See, rankings are very temporary in nature. I just wanted to explain you that point, so I thought every year it will keep changing. Okay, I will give my last year's advertisement, put it on my website where I was rank 1 and this year I have fallen to rank 5th. I'll not talk about that. I'll not put it. So whatever people will be able to see, rank is very dynamic. Rank is generally annual. And tell me, if your son or daughter is a school student and he or she has got 91% and another boy or a girl in the same class has got 91.1%, what is the difference between the two? Technically speaking, no difference. And that is the reason why we have stopped at school level all what we call the positions, and we have removed the ranks also. We have started giving, rather than marks, the grades. Why? Because our own assessment can vary 5 to 10% based on our mood, time, various other contexts which are there. And to remove those vagaries, we made this. So in that sense, I would tend to say, my take, don't like it, doesn't matter, you make your own mind. Ratings are more stable. Ratings are about more of quality. Ratings are more lifelong or long term, if not lifelong. They are more about that. Okay? And therefore they are rather important. Ratings are more comprehensive compared to rankings is what I would say. That's my perception. And let me also tell you, quote others indirectly without naming them. Most of the top leaders of the academic nature in this country who have headed such groups, they are of course friends and we meet. And most of them have confided or had made statements on the public forums that given a chance they would not like to do ratings much, rankings much, and do more of ratings because of various things which are there. Imagine that your son or daughter is coming first in the class right from first standard to 8th standard, and in the 9th standard he or she comes second. What kind of a shock he or she gets and what kind of reaction you have. Your first question is, why are you second this time? You're always first. I think that puts a lot of pressure on you, and therefore to remove such things, I think you can decide what is important. I will probably give more weight to the ratings. What are the measurement parameters or how it is measured? Obviously these are self-declaration. I can define my quality. Public domain, including own websites where your public information is available. Through that some assessments happen. And some of the ratings in terms of IT and related ratings are also there in terms of media and all that. Those are based on how many hits on website, how many this on that, what is that, how to dig out the information from the website, what are the labels of the websites, and all that also defined. Third party verifications, there can be earmarked agencies doing that. Surveys are there, perceptions and other things are also there, and of course most important is peer assessment, which we generally tend to do in NAC, but some of them may have some overlaps also, doesn't matter, but that is how we do the process. And in the new process you'll possibly find a lot of things. Is this pointer working? Yeah. In the new process you'll find at least the first state will have to do a lot with the self-declaration also. They can be counter-checked, but you'll have to self-declare things. And possibly it will be minus the physical visits or the peer team visits. That's the expectation from the first level of system. So self-declaration, and then there can be some net-based or online-based or perception-based things can be taken. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to entertain any visiting team and showcase or whatever like that. So such things will happen. Okay, NAC processes, if I talk about, I would say that it has changed. It celebrated its 25 years, I think 2 or 3 years back, something like that. I was part of that celebrations of the NAC, and therefore I would say that it has changed many a times during those 25 years. It had different pointers, different scales, different levels, different processes, and the last one being, or very famous or infamous, whatever you can say, current NAC process which is still prevailing is DVV plus peer team visit is what we call. This is typically 70, this is 30, and some choice parameters are there. I'm sure you have exercised that when you have undergone that, so something you can possibly do. And the levels were different, but the current levels are something like 6 or 7 A plus, plus, A plus, then A, then B plus, B, something like that, C, I think 6 levels, and then beyond that you don't get the accreditation. That's how it is there. And I'm very proud to tell you that country's first 2 A++ institutions I was associated with. In fact, the very first one to get the A++ in the country, I was leading it. I was the Vice Chancellor of SRM Chennai. That's when it happened in July or August of 2018. And the second one happened to be where I was a board member, that's Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. And that was the second institution to get A++. It was pretty tough. We were hitting in dark. We didn't know what we are going to get. We are not confident of what benchmarks are there. Benchmarks were even not known till last year, let me tell you. Only last year they made the benchmarks public. And the benchmarks were the goals. And the goals were also moving internally for them, let me tell you. And why I'm telling you all that is also I'll tell you a story connected to this. Anyway, so when we got, it was a big relief. We were very happy because we got it, and our first reaction, or my first reaction as a Vice Chancellor was, fine, we have got it, thank you so much, but tell us in what parameter, what have we got. When I answer a question paper, I get 80 out of 100 or 90 out of 100, I'd still like to know where have I missed 10 marks. This my teacher was not telling me at that time, or my assessor was not telling me at that time, and therefore there was a little bit of incompleteness in the process of NAC at that point of time. Anyway, so what you can say is then later, so this is currently prevailing. This started in 2018, typically from July, and it's continuing till the next one comes now. Alright, there are minor modifications have happened in this, that they have done the categorization for I think for medical differently, and few more differently they have done it. I don't know all the categories what they have done. Medical is a very recent phenomena. They have not even applied to a single university, I would say, but they are in the process of doing so in case of medical. Few others have also been done. Open and distance required a little bit of different treatment and so on and so forth. So everyone was wanting, why not something suitable to agriculture universities? Why not to Sanskrit or Ayurveda or whatever like that? So NAC probably was not happy, but they were still doing something here and there. But based on that experience, the new process is slightly different, which is there. So the NAC process, the NEP 2020 removed 1A from what you call NAC. This is the fourth pillar or third pillar of the out of the 4 pillars which we have under NEP 2020, this will be a complete unified process where NBA or NAC or any other such equivalent agencies will be falling under that ambit of NAC, National Accreditation Council is what they will possibly call it. Still HESI is not there, so we don't know what shape this will have. But since the national level committees are working on that with the blessings of ministry and the leadership, possibly what they are doing will be standing good for times to come. Alright, so this NAC process has been initiated, so 1A is removed and it amalgamates all the existing processes. White paper to lay foundation for new processes was done 2 years back. I was also one of the authors for that. The white paper, this white paper should be available to you if you so like on the NAC website and maybe in some public domains also. There were quite a few authors led by Professor Bhushan Patwardhan at that time, who was the NAC chairman. Some of us contributed extensively to that, and that's how the new foundation were laid. But then some changes came, some challenges also came, some difficulties also happened, and some hue and cry in terms of public domain of what is happening in NAC also was a matter of concern. And as a result, a committee called Dr. Zurail Committee happened. And Dr. Zurail was none other than the director of the InflipNet, I think in Ahmedabad. And fortunately, I was also part of this committee, and this committee rather became famous or infamous, you can say, because NAC audits everyone else, but we audited NAC there, and we found the difficulties and the flaws and the challenges and what are the loopholes and various things to be improved, and we ended up giving some short-term, medium-term and long-term changes which are required. It was an open assessment of the NAC and its processes. By the way, this is completely available at page number 23 and 24 of the Radhakrishnan report if you would like to see. So this Jurel committee. So this really laid the foundation for the change in the NAC immediately, that people started expecting and accepting that some change will happen, and that is how it has come. Then of course there are several other committees and groups working simultaneously. I think once again Radhakrishnan committee report will give you little filler on this, that what happened and who were doing what and various things which were there. So there were different times, different things happen. But now means this is just possibly a month and a half old, I will say, not more than that. New method being defined under a new framework of NEP 2020 as well as the report of Dr. Radhakrishnan committee. It's being defined, and I'll just describe this briefly. So this is happening, and possibly as statement given by your Vice Chancellor, sir, you will be falling under that framework. I'm not defining the framework, but I'm just defining some small time outline of that. And that is the recommendation of the Radhakrishnan committee report. Number one, this is called as transformative reforms, because there's a lot of reform may be a smaller word, but transform may be a slightly bigger word in my opinion. So transformation is happening and arrived through an open and transparent process. Like NEP was developed, this process was also developed. Once again they define in the report itself that how they have gone about it. Please go through that. It will be a data-driven approach, one nation, one data kind of an approach will be followed. An outcomes-based approach. Outcomes also includes impact. If you understand that, there can be a difference between outcome and impact. So it will be an outcomes-based approach which will be there. So this will be the major changes which are there. The whole process of NAC is to make it more widespread. That means right now the number of institutions going for NAC etc. is in percentage terms is very less, whether it's universities or colleges. So they want to entice, lure, force, attract, invite, support, whatever way you understand, to make sure that the people start thinking about quality and start doing quality in their processes, and that's why they want to make it more widespread. Once again, this was an expectation from the NEP itself and carried in the Radhakrishnan committee report, and further you can say. And here, based on those what you call previous challenges which NAC understood, that someone saying no, medical should be different, someone saying something else should be different, open and distance should be different, and some design based things have something different, architecture and all that. And therefore they have defined now the new process under 10 major categories. And 10 major categories happen to be, let's say law is different, medical is different, something else is different, whatever. So 9 are different categories, and 10th one, or you can rather call it as a first one as per their order, happens to be a multidisciplinary. I had that multidisciplinary committee in terms of forming its requirements and processes. There are 9 more such committees, so there are 10 major categories which are there, and then there is an apex body which will look into everything, and that apex body will then finally finalize the whole process. That is the process being followed. Slightly different parameters for universities and colleges are going to be followed. So right now we are working on the university parameters, later it will be colleges and various other things which will be keep happening. So it will be an exercise which will be in continuation from time to time. And entry level system to be mainly an online process. It will be minus the physical visits, as I was trying to tell you. Entry level system to be a binary kind of a system, yes or no, whether you fall in that or not. At entry level, you will not be defined in terms of your levels A, B, C or whatever that may be. Similarly, entry level matrices to have many common parameters for all. All these 10 categories may have many parameters which will be common, which is very obvious because we are trying to define some basic things at the entry level, and therefore many things will be common. We don't know how much percentage of parameters will be common across law, medical, multidisciplinary, agriculture, design, whatever such things, but there will be significant amount which can be common. Outcome and impact to have a greater focus is what Radhakrishnan committee says, and the world also says. Most of the international agencies which are doing rankings and ratings, including Washington Accord, including THE, including QS, are mainly based on that. But at entry level, it may be difficult to define the impacts and outcomes fully, and therefore these parameters will also remain. So if you go through the Radhakrishnan Committee report and go through their annexure, you will find all the parameters are defined in terms of inputs, processes, outcomes and impact. All of them are defined in that particular form, that there can be certain inputs in certain cases. Obviously land, etc., you cannot define the quality of land, etc. It will be only at the input level, something like that. When it comes to number of teachers, you can only define it in that way, but when it comes to quality of teachers, it can be defined in a certain different, how many PhDs and postdocs and things of that nature, that will be slightly different. But anyway, all the parameters which are going to be measured are going to be classified in these 4 categories, but eventually these will be the higher focus for the country. Outcomes and impact will be the higher focus, and then subsequent processes to be defined in terms of level 1 to level 5 in terms of quality, where level 1 will be the lowest in whatever way they define, but L5 to be global excellence level, that you are at par with the world-class institutions is what L5 is going to be. How is it going to evolve? We don't know. It will take time. Yes, surely it will take time, because after this, the basic thing, the L1, then L2 and L3, and obviously it will become more and more stringent as we go along, and it will become more and more outcome and impact based rather than input and process based. Alright, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. It's not something unique, this has been followed, only thing is emphasis is getting changed here from time to time. What are the major categories? I think I would advise you not to note down from here. I have put it in my own way. But if you see the list of the Radhakrishnan Committee report, that will give you 10. I have just listed here, I think 9 here. I have clubbed something for the easier understanding of the participants here. So these will be student related, curricular, co-curricular, extracurricular, teaching, learning. The focus remains to the students here. They are primarily students driven, so I have written it like that. Then research and faculty. Research is primarily driven by the faculty and faculty themselves, I have done. Infrastructure and sustainability are very correlated, and therefore I clubbed them. And governance and finance also has a strong relationship. I have given you 9 parameters. Actually there are 10 parameters. They probably split this into more, like that you can do, and they of course define it like governance and administration, finance and something like that they write, doesn't matter, but the major categories, and by the way these are not changed from the previous one. The previous one had something like 7 categories, and some of these were mixed up there. Outcomes were not there, sustainability was not there, but finance, governance, infra, faculty, research, student, something was there. So 7 has become 9 or 10 in the recent case is what you should understand. Okay, so I come to now how to raise the quality. Of course, your focus and my focus will be NAC in terms of Q&A, but I would always be interested in raising the bar of quality, come what may, come what standard, come what process. Who knows? Tomorrow NBA may become better, tomorrow QS and THE may become very stronger. You want to go international and therefore NAC is fine for you, but you still want THE and QS. So you don't have to necessarily toe that line. So how do you improve the quality in generic terms is what I'm going to talk to you about here. But the first and the foremost I'll talk about, and pardon me for talking about IQAC, I'm generally very critical of what I observe and see, and by the way, me and Professor Rajnikant Sahab have worked together in certain teams, certain times for such evaluations. So he would know that many times we find challenges that people don't understand certain things clearly. And in that context, I'm trying to give you some problems and some solutions, alright? And these are generic, and these are some important parameters, not all parameters, okay? And if you don't like it, you can discard it. If you still want to probe me more, please do it, I don't mind, alright? So first I talk about the issues. What is IQAC is least understood. In general, I'm not saying at RNTU or anywhere else or my institution, but it's least understood, alright? And it's a non-statutory body. It's an issue because NACS is that you do it, so you create it. Even before you are born, sometimes IQAC is born, that IQAC will be required. That's because you are focusing on NAC, but it's not non-statutory bodies. Sometimes only decorative body, sometimes omnipresent. You see that everything goes through that NAC called IQAC. Every approval, every finance, every program, they sit on the dais and then you give them the credit and you thank them. Pardon me if some of you don't like it.
That is
Doesn't
a fact.
I have corrected in all my institutions where I have worked. IQAC's role is to sample, to measure what is happening as a right or wrong, and to give the feedback from that, or maybe to initiate one or two or some new things based on their assessment, not to run the administration. They cannot be a concurrent administration, is my opinion, and therefore this is like this. Lack of expertise. Generally, they would not have inbuilt expertise. They will have some dedicated people who will be helping the top management, but they may not necessarily be very senior also sometimes. Same set of authorities, so it does not make any difference sometimes. And improper record keeping is what also I have seen. Not all will be true for all the cases. Some things will be true, some things will not be true. So the answers could be clearly define the purpose, what should be the next purpose, give it importance but not statutory powers. Okay, they should keep continuously talking to you, assessing you, suggesting you, understanding you, what are the challenges, what are the practical things, conduct regular meetings, let it not be involved in everything, engage external experts are something very essential. I have always made sure for last 10 years or more that I have people from Quality Council of India sitting in my body called IQAC. And what they do is they bring the quality practices which are followed nationally and internationally. I bring one industry expert. I have generally had 2 experts from outside, and I want those experts who open their mouth in the meetings, not to come there to sit and have a cup of tea, coffee, take some fee and go away. No, not that. I want people, I select those people who have been vocal, who knows and who question us, and it's only then the quality improves. Quality will improve only if you look at something. What is wrong with this? There is everything right with this water because I'm consuming. You can always say, sir, you are consuming, why you are cursing? But is it not true that if I look at it critically, I can improve the design, I can improve something, I can reduce the cost, I can make sure that it is more environmentally friendly. So I have to look at these things critically. And in spite of everything functioning all right, broadly, I'll still have to look at it with a critical mind to improve upon that, and that should be the role IQAC should be playing. Common but active members to be enrolled. So these are some of the answers which I have tried to give you. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say is in broad sense, not necessarily in absolute sense. Okay, curriculum design and delivery. Next one. I've taken some 8 parameters, if I'm not wrong, as what is wrong and what is to be improved upon. So the issues are outdated. It still remains to be the case that the frequency of revision, etc., is very poor. Infrequent updating, loaded with domain-specific courses. Fortunately, that's going to go away now. With the new frameworks defined, with all those active learning courses and value-added courses and skill-based courses and non-domain courses, non-domain specific courses and open electives and discipline electives and whatnot, various structures are given. So please try to figure out that you make your schemes accordingly if you have not done so. If you have done so, it's fine. And then curriculum design delivery. I few days back, just 3 days back, some faculty member for some institution who must have known me in one of such events or this thing, ended up writing to me, sir, which institution's curriculum should we try to follow? Now, I was traveling abroad. I came 3 days back only. I was at loss. I could not answer, but then later I answered. You understand what my answer would be. You cannot copy paste. I cannot become, by copy pasting, I cannot become America, or America cannot become India, or vice versa, China, or whatever it may be. Copy paste cannot happen. You look at whatever you like, but make your own model, I think, is the most important in the curriculum. What you can deliver, what expertise you have. What we do is do the best of the curriculum and then look with the torch here, there, is there someone to teach this course? Which is what not the case in many good universities. If I go there, I bring certain expertise. They say Sandeep Sancheti is here, he will teach these courses, so let's float that. So there are courses around teachers. In our case, teachers around courses. That's the kind of a dichotomy we have right now when we design the curriculum. Everything is fixed, frozen, and the new expert who comes into your institution doesn't find any matching in the curriculum, and therefore they don't, or they are not able to deliver a great deal. I think that's a challenge. Too long or involved processes are there. Poor in skills in terms of contributions which are there. Lack of self-learning. We have always seen in most of the institutions, they say, sir, we cannot keep the students free. If we do that, they make nuisance, they run around the corridors, they disturb the other classes, and we keep loading them very heavily. Till recently, we have seen 200, 210 credits also being followed for some engineering degrees, whereas long time back, AICT had prescribed around 165 or 170, and now, of course, it has become 160. And let me tell you, 10 years back, I was in US as a part of Indian delegation, and we said that we are doing it at 180 or 185 credit. They were like shocked. How can you do that? Why so much? They were doing their degrees 10 years back at 140 credits. Alright, 10 years back I'm saying in US. So I'm not necessarily saying that we copy them, but what I'm saying is the trend is also towards self-learning, so you have to give them enough space and help them. Inadequate blending in terms of variety of courses or curriculum structures or teaching learning methods, which will be followed as per the curriculum design and delivery. So regular and need-based revisions every 4 years. 25% revision is what you should do. It may be the structure once and it may be the courses once in 4 years that add some new elements of new topics or subtopics which are there, and remove some old one, stale one, which have become standard. Alright, so that's how you can possibly do. Specialization, typical specialization, this is my opinion. Of course, NEP says now 40% only, or the UGC recommendation says typically that the core courses or subject related courses can be 40. I simply said something like 50% is something which will be possible. Do not make it too loaded or heavy. My prescription to you would be a typical weekly load should not go more than 24 or 25 hours in worst case, and credit should not go more than 22. Ideally it should be 20, but it should not go, even if it is uneven, it should not go more than 22. Otherwise the self-learning and other kind of learning will suffer. They will be loaded. Deliver adequate skills, so at least make one skill course. Anyway, with the ABC and NEP and ME, multiple entry, multiple exit, you are required to do that, so you can do. Use flipped or MOOC models for a lot of self-learning and new learning and advanced learning. Support them, but when you do the MOOC, the real challenge comes is how do you assess them? If you depend upon the MOOC examinations, then those examinations are slightly different. You cannot do the same grading. They may not give you the result in the same time. So your result declaration may be hampered, various other things. Think of all that, but there are guided MOOCs also, which you can do. You can take a reference of a MOOC course. A teacher can use that as a guided MOOC course and then run it successfully. The various things which are there. Engage with variety of models. Blended has come. I was also part of the UGC committee, by the way, for what you call the blended teaching learning, and our report was made public in April or May 2022, and you can have a look at it. But after that many changes have come. Then NCRF has come, various things are there, they're talking all about such things. So you can possibly look at that. But by the way, why I'm saying some of these things is ABC, the Academic Bank of Credit. Have you heard of that? ABC, I'm sure you are following. So that is one scheme where I've contributed extensively. There were 6 or 7 or 8 committees from time to time over a period of 2 years. I was a constant thread for making ABC as a policy. Not the implementation part I'm saying, just making it as a policy. And I still feel that the ABC policy is more or less foolproof in terms of fundamentals. But in terms of operations, obviously those who are implementing it in UGC now will have to see, but we can always have an answer. So follow the ABC for student centricity, and student centricity is the focus of NEP. Alright, and if you are able to do that, because first 3 parameters which I showed to you last time, possibly are related to these things only, the curriculum and student centricity and so on and so forth, if you see. So these will be very important in times to come, but not that what you are doing. You will have to show that how many students earned degrees out of ABC, how many students used MEME, how many students learned skills and did something like that, and what was the outcome, did something improve, like that it will be there. So once again, skills, I'll not go into great detail. So considered low level, I think there is a mention of this everywhere, poor interest in social recognition, high diversity of the skills. So if I ask you which is the skill which you'll probably try to deliver most to a student. So these are some of the challenges: faster rate of obsolescence, not very well structured, creations as a different class, limited upward mobility. So limited upward mobility has been addressed now in NEP or ABC also. Creation of different class, lot of skills universities came about in states, but they didn't get real recognition or the attention from the what you call the students, and therefore there was a challenge. So now they are getting amalgamated. You can have the skill courses and they can have the normal courses, and they can get the normal degree and you can also give the skill degree, so and so forth can happen. So if I ask you what is the biggest skill you would like to deliver to your students, can you give me an answer? Again, shout out. Just say loudly what do you want to do it as a skill. You have to think. Keep this. Sorry? Communication, someone said. I agree. This used to be a skill which was required everywhere. Probably 10 years old, maybe 15 years old, and still dragging. Communication can be many means, not only spoken. Communication is, I just do something quickly in a short, that's also a skill. I can communicate through that also. So I would not rate, personally, that's my opinion, I will rate today a skill called learnability. If I have developed a skill of learning, unlearning and relearning anything at any point of time in my life, career, whatever, I think that's the biggest skill I'd like to deliver to my students, that they know how to go about doing something new and losing something old. I think that's also a skill. Most of us who are old age people, I do not know Professor Rajnikant will agree or not, we find it hard to unlearn. Old habits die hard. अरे नहीं वो ठीक है अभी नहीं करने का इसको, something like that. We have an approach, and with that our learnability ability comes down. So if you are able to deliver learnability, I think that will be a good skill. Anyway, so skills are must for life, can be more rewarding even financially. There are many domains where skills are highly paid. There was a time optical fiber joining in US was one of the most rewarding profession in terms of financial gains which was there. Same thing happens with a lot of plumbing things in advanced countries and so on and so forth. Society should give it importance. In India, society does not give people enough adequate positioning if they have skills. There are a lot of people 15 years back, 20 years back, that if a car is stuck on the road, it may be an Impala or whatever Mercedes, they'll make sure that they'll do something and it will run for some more time before it goes to garage, and the person will be unskilled in the sense that a roadside guy will be able to do something. So those skills were never recognized, though they were handling bigger things. Alright, so you probably know the joke about Jaspal Bhatti tilting the rocket and then the rocket going up. That was only just a lighter side of the skill which we are talking. So anyway, more investments in skills, NHEQF making properly structured skills and all that, and ABC diminishing the differences and integrating it. ABC says you can build your degrees any way you like. You can make a lot of skills and still get a general degree, and less skills still make a general degree. Something like that is what ABC says. Open learning, I think I'm very keen on that personally. I was myself a presidential nominee on the Distance Education Council from 2009 to something like 13 till we dissolved it. It ran into a lot of problems, lot of issues all the time, cursed, and that's why possibly some of us were put in the last ditch effort to make sure that it can be revived. But finally we had to close it. But it's getting revived again now, not necessarily as effectively as we would want, but this is most important because the education goes from 25 to 75. So issues not much of open learning in a formal way, least interest only as per directions of the councils and codes. Credit or audit, all those are the challenges. Availability of teachers. I know at that time when we were part of the committee, we suddenly heard one institution, one open university starting and advertising for a PhD program. The university had only 4 faculty members, including the vice chancellor in that university at that point of time. And today evening they have advertised the thing, and tomorrow morning there were 400 applications for PhD. So you can imagine, they never had the capacity, but they were facing the heat and the challenge. So those were things which were there, the class sizes, timetabling, doing things, assessments, etc. Also the copying, pasting, all those things were there. So some of the solutions are that please recognize it and make it equivalent. In India, we still see the distance education with a little bit of, you can say, disinterest, saying that, oh, it's only distance, something like that we tend to say, which is possibly wrong. Drive it in your on your own without getting imposed with various challenges. Credits and audit courses, hire external experts or industry people, scale up classes, focus more on continuous assessments, and all those things can probably improve this thing. And these are easily possible now purely because that we are now in a digital age where some of these things are very easily possible. Multidisciplinary education is a focus for NEP in any case. Initially not a priority. I must say that I attended couple of meetings after launch of NEP in Delhi, because at that time I was very active in the AIU circles, and we still had a lot of vice chancellors or so-called directors of the institutions called law universities or medical universities or technological universities, and they were openly claiming that what wrong have we done? Have we not done proud to the country? So why are you focusing and forcing us on multidisciplinarity? Are we not good as a unitary university or an institution? Those were the challenges even after the NEP had come. Fortunately, people have understood the importance of those aspects now, and most of those institutions are now changing their thinking, and they are moving and they are doing management, they are doing commerce, they are doing medical, whether they were technological or medical or law or whatever, they are changing. So these were, earlier there was no priority, but now it's going to change. Difficulty in understanding other components of trans, cross, intra, inter, all these things also come into the multidisciplinarity. Too wide spectrum of courses, introductory or advanced, what to do, what not to do are the challenges. Class sizes, teachers and rooms can be a challenge. You don't know how many people accept what kind of a thing, so those are the challenges. So obviously, a multidisciplinary need of the hour, assess through stakeholders' feedback. Bucket-based courses you can do if you really want to confine, not give complete choice, but give limited choice. I think that's possible. Promote all types of disciplinary courses, lay prerequisites for advanced courses, and all that you can do. Keep flexibility of all types while doing the course. I may do my first year in engineering and then I find that I'm not good at engineering, it's not of my taste. I think I should be allowed to move to, let's say, commerce or whatever, which I want. But again, I find that commerce is also, let's say, not doing a great deal to me, and I'm a fine arts guy. I want to do some sculpting and whatnot, and something like that. I should be allowed. I should be possibly be allowed to transfer the credits of my first year and second year, and ultimately I may not get a BA degree or BSc degree or BCom degree because I have not done anything adequately, but I should be and possibly be given what I call you can say Bachelor of Liberal Education, that I have done what I wanted to explore. I should be given that. That's not yet happening, but that possibly can happen in times to come. Like you do liberal arts, you can say liberal education. I studied whatever I wanted in my life. It may not be for job, it may be for my satisfaction that I do it. So let me get a degree like that. So multidisciplinary education will be promoted. And by the way, I am heading that committee right now in the NAC's 10 committees which are there. And we have tough time how to define and capture the multidisciplinary university. We are still on the job for this. Use of technology, I think, is very important, and this has become more prevalent now because of the corona and because of the NEP also giving directions. So understanding and availability, support and training, cost and space cost. So brick and mortar has been replaced by the electronic and IT items, possibly you can say, if you want to multiply your capacity, you can do it easily, it can be fast, it can be reconfigurable, it can be highly scalable, and it can be a uniform model for many things which you do. These are the issues: modernization, maintenance, availability with the students, inherent resistance to change are the issue with the technology. As I was saying you, education specific technologies are not so many right now. Most of the technologies which we use are borrowed from defense or medical or whatever, that they were first, like internet was first for defense. There are so many other technologies for different reasons they came into being, but we use in education. Education specific technologies are not many. So here the solutions are attempt new things, expose through training and visits to good institutions. And let me tell you, you started learning about MOOC when? Probably 5 years back, 7 years back, maybe 10 years back. But I used the MOOC courses something like in 2004-5, 20 years back. I used for my own self-learning and teaching my students 20 years back. At that time there was no NPTEL, there was no SWAYAM. We didn't know what the word MOOC is. Probably the MOOC appeared later. It was the MIT Open Courseware. MIT OCW is what they used to call it. It came from MIT. Alright, so it emerged from that, you can possibly say. So when you get exposed to such new things and when you experiment with such new things, you possibly find the weight behind it and the reason why we can do it. Create corpus funds and budget allocations for technology, very important. Finance needy students or create open facilities. Sometimes in India this was a curse that they cannot afford laptops and tabs and whatnot, but you remember somewhere around 2008-9 India embarked on a new mission called tabs, Akash naam tha uska, and the Akash was supposed to be costing, as per the design or expectation with large numbers, cost around 2000 rupees only. That was the cost expected, whereas the world was doing it at 10 to 15,000 at particular that time. And with Indian experiments starting, the cost came crushing down to something like 4 to 5,000. Indian experiment didn't succeed in Akash in commercial sense. In technical sense it was alright, but commercial sense it did not. But the international manufacturers were forced to reduce the cost to less than half. So that is the power of the technology if you start implementing, using it, something like that. And that helps the quality. Sometimes that helps the availability, that helps the access, that helps the equity. What is shown to me on a computer terminal or tab terminal, whether I'm the richest person in the world or I'm the poorest in the world, if I have access to that, possibly the availability will be the same. And therefore it brings equity and whatnot. Okay, and expert talks with use cases can be something very exciting through technology you can do. Develop good and easy tools which are student friendly, so these can be there. When it comes to examinations, tell me one examination change someone would like to do here. Please tell me. Are you happy the way you were examined, or are you happy the way you examine others, is what I'm trying to ask you. What will be one change in the examination you would like to do? Anyone who has a fire in the belly saying that I want to change something?
The whispering is that open book test.
Okay. But whispering is that. Looks like you are not fully devoted to that.
Yes.
Now I must give you an answer. My first open book examinations happened to me in 1983. My first open book examination for myself, I'm saying, I can give you proof, it's all there in writing, happened in 1983. It's 40 years since then. We are still whispering about that. Probably is not a very good way forward to use new methods of examination. By the way, what you are going to ask me now at the end is for money churning. I think that's a very, very wrong concept. Of course, some of the good institutions or big names do that to cross-subsidize the cost of the teaching learning, but that not necessarily in Indian context it's good. And then limited academic flexibility and all these things, language barriers, job opportunities, these are all the barriers why internationalization is not happening in India. What are the solutions? Improve diversity of courses, make it cost effective, promote internationalization at home. This is what we did in my last university. By the way, last university called Marwadi, maybe you have not heard the name, relatively young university, started in 2016. We had around 10,000, 11,000 students. 15% of students were truly international. 15%. And 53 countries were represented, including India, so you can say 52 outside India were represented on the campus. And this was by design. And our cost was hardly 10% more than the cost of the Indian student typically. Why we did it? Because we wanted to drive what we call internationalization at home. And what it means is, if I get 10 students out of 100 at a less cost to my institution, the remaining 90 students are getting the exposure to internationalization at zero cost. That's very worthy, because that's what the new generational students will need, because they'll have to go outside and work and so on and so forth. So like that, you can possibly argue what you are doing, why you are doing, and improve it. And that can be your USP, that your 15%. 15% is typically what is government allows as a supernumerary or whatever the quota way you can say. So we are pegging it on 15%, and that's what we are trying to do, and not increasing the cost but increasing the diversity. Support and connect various things which are required for internationalization in terms of religious and food and social requirements. Bridging courses are something very important. Many times we used to call students 2 months, 3 months in advance, help them with a Cambridge certification, language certification or mathematics course, and then make them enter into the regular course in July. Something like that we'll do. Invite country-specific companies sometimes to get the placement, so in that case they will get attracted. So that's how you can improve the internationalization. And finally, the issues of research, which is becoming very, very important. So I need not go through that. Most of the things you know. Here only thing is, most of the research is considered to be doing PhD. Now I think that's a huge misnomer, misconcept I would say. Doing PhD is just the starting of the research. And getting a PhD is the license to do the research. It's not the end of the research. Unfortunately in India, the moment you talk to an academic institution and you talk about research, they say, itna PhD ho raha hai, itna ho gaya, wahin pe khatam ho jata hai. It's the end of the life of a researcher. I think that should be the beginning. In crude words, not now, I'm calling it for last 20 years, PhD is a license to kill when it comes to research. It gives you so much of power. It's just the starting point that it empowers you to do the research. Now you have that philosophical attitude or understanding of doing something new or finding something new. It's not the end. So I think we'll have to get out of research issues. And by the way, research is hugely back to teaching learning. What is teaching learning? Teaching learning is more about accumulating new information and disseminating new information, or information, if not new, every information. आप लोग क्या करते हैं, किताबों से जानकारी इकट्ठा करते हैं और उसको समझ समझा के बाद में बच्चों में बांट देते हैं. So accumulating, assimilating, and then distributing is what you are trying to do it, isn't it? But then knowledge is not confined to only these two functions, teaching, learning. The third function is generating new things. New knowledge is also important, and generating new knowledge is nothing but research. Alright, generating new knowledge is nothing but research, and therefore research has to be very, very important. I'll not explain. Research is a new knowledge generation. Invest in economically more rewarding. Do all types of research. Make it highly multidisciplinary. Improve quality and quantity of doctoral program. Reward and award these successes. I think these are well understood, and if not, we can deliberate later, or sometimes your own team research or various other people can talk about that, some of these points which are there. So these days, by the way, as I told you, my role or my designation is research relations. So I'll lay a little bit of emphasis on this. Research is a very broad term. Of course, it is research and development, but it can also be innovation, consulting, testing, various other things. Even the entrepreneurship incubation can be related to that. In educational terms, research is more towards generating new knowledge, is what we should think of. And these are the important things which me or my company we do today, that we talk about research intelligence, research integrity, research impact, research innovation, research investment, various RIs which we talk about. Unfortunately, we don't do it in educational institution. हमने पेपर छाप दिया, वो हमारे लिए रिसर्च हो गया. उसका इम्पैक्ट फैक्टर हमने कहीं कुछ लिख दिया, वो हमारे लिए रिसर्च हो गया. But research intelligence, research impact, research integrity are very thing. big things. 10,000 papers were withdrawn last year alone in terms of research, poor integrity. I'm not going to name the people and the countries and the publishers which were there. A lot of copy paste is happening, a lot of stale research is happening. I think we need to know what we do and how we do. And some of the top publishers have also in the world and in the country have faced the music because of all these things. So we need to know research much more deeply rather than just publishing some paper. All right. And then of course we can do certain things in terms of research on SDGs, which is not happening much. Multidisciplinary projects should be our focus, going beyond the boundary of your department or institution or your subject. Research with industry collaboration will be important because it will be directly productive to the society. So that will also improve your quality. And my last two slides, or maybe last but one slide here. Quality is a journey, not a destination. आप जितना चलते जाओगे रोड उतनी बढ़ती जाएगी आगे, कभी खत्म नहीं होगी और होनी भी नहीं चाहिए. That is what it is. It survives on time, efforts and resources. I already said to you earlier, it thrives on deeper interests and sacrifices made. Success and quality will come only if you make those sacrifices and deeper interests, otherwise it will not come. You'll have to scratch your head and then sit down and then try to improve that. It may require a lot of effort. However, it can fetch huge recognitions, it can boost your own self-esteem, it can financially be rewarding in long run. आपने इंस्टीट्यूशन 10 साल बहुत अच्छी क्वालिटी से बना दी, उसके बाद कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है. आज की तारीख में स्टैनफोर्ड, हार्वर्ड को कोई पब्लिसिटी करने की ज़्यादा ज़रूरत नहीं है. सब लोग लाइन लगा के जाते हैं, या IIT या IIM जो भी कहें आप, जैसे भी कहें. That is what happens because they have established their quality. And therefore, if you express and do certain things on quality aspects, then obviously it becomes financially rewarding in long run. And many private institutions across the countries are also sitting in the same frame. Finally, this is a borrowed statement which I have learnt, not mine. I was part of IUCEE, Indo-US Collaboration for Engineering Education, way back in 2007. And later it became Indo-Universal Collaboration for Engineering Education, and that's where its chief called Krishna Vedula was a gentleman who talked about this. Whatever way you want to say it, do what you say what you do, prove it, assess it and improve it. Assess it is my addition to this, but his thing was do what you say what you do, prove it and improve it. I would say that after proving what I have done, I'll further assess it in terms of what is right and wrong, and then possibly I'll improve it. So I've just added one. It's just my own thought. As I said, that I'll always think slightly differently from whatever is available to me as an existing. I don't want to discredit what people might have done, but this will be my approach. That and this I have practiced. That I became the direct chairman of AIEEE admissions in 2011. And the time given to me was very, very short. But the moment time was given to me, I made a team of 3 people and made them go to 2-3 top institutions, that what challenges they face when it comes to the national level admissions. And they came out with their own report, understanding, and then we sat down for 1 week thinking that how do we address that. And as a result, first 15 days were spent only on the thought processes, that how to make the system improve rather than worrying about that do it tomorrow kind of a thing. And as a result, we got one of the best performances when it comes to the admissions and seat filling and wastage of seats and all that during that process. So that is the process, assess it. That is the reason why I have introduced this here. So I come to the conclusions. Outcome-based approach is for overall good. All right, you know that when you are putting money in, does it drive anything in terms of good results? Single source of data would be a great deal of advantage. आज की तारीख में कई बार हम इंटरव्यू लेते हैं, कई बार कई फैकल्टी कई जगह अप्लाई करती है, वो हमें ये बताती भाई आप क्या काम कर रहे हो, पढ़ाई लिखाई के अलावा भी कुछ करते हो. हाँ साहब, मैं वो नैक के क्राइटेरिया नंबर 4 का पॉइंट नंबर 2 का मैं कोऑर्डिनेटर हूँ, या इस टाइप से वो कुछ बताते हैं. I think lot of effort, time and energy is going into that. I think that should go away. Naturally, we should be able to derive the data from whatever is happening regularly. So this single source of data will be something very nice. It is likely to bring all levels of institution under single umbrella. This has been the bane of Indian system. The best people have said, sorry, we don't want accreditation. We want to accreditate you, but we don't want accreditation ourselves. I'll not name the institutions, but now government is determined and they are making sure that everyone comes under the same umbrella. Rules cannot be different for a prime minister or ministers and a common citizen when it comes to, let's say, income tax or social responsibilities or whatever such thing. The same thing is happening here. So they will come. Attracting more institutions to join for accreditation is going to help the overall higher education system. So one of the answers to the question which I raised, raising the average, will be this, but I am seeking a slightly more advanced answer from all of you, if you can give me. It may take 1 or 2 years, not years, tears also I will say. This was done while I was traveling in the morning, alright, in the aircraft, but I wrote the conclusions there only. So tears will also be required, years will also be required. And ultimately it can be cheers, alright, if you succeed it can be cheers. So to fully implement the new transformative system, ये जो L1 से L5 वाला है, उसमें time लगेगा to decide what will be those levels and all that, how it will work and all that thing. We're still away from some of the good global practices like handholding. So internationally, when you apply, they presume that you are ready, but still if there are some gaps, they keep telling you, improve this, improve this, improve this, and then come back to us, something like that. And we do not have such processes. However, in the new system, we are saying that there will be some people who are not eligible, they will be handholded. Something has come about, but it's not fully like that, but still changes are happening. Quality should be more defined by the institutions themselves in all their efforts rather than just an external parameter. आप अंदर से drive नहीं करेंगे quality को तो quality नहीं आएगी. You should say, I will set this benchmark, I'll set this style, I'll set this context, and that is how the whole thing will happen. With that, I'd like to conclude. Thank you so much, and I'll be open to any questions, any challenges. I'll like to learn from you by getting tough questions if you can. Thank you so much.
Thank you for a wonderful exposition. Cheers. I would pick up from where he left. It is a wonderful exposition of a real good lesson from a speaker who has been engaged in various processes related to the formulation of committees or assessment criteria or accreditation processes. I think we would not have been able to find a better speaker to address this audience and the faculties from all the 6 universities of AISECT group. Professor Sancheti has touched upon various aspects, and he has clearly spoken about producing PhDs. I also hold the same opinion that getting PhD degree is a driving license, and once you have that, it is not that you are a scooter driver or a car driver or a truck driver or a bus driver. You can drive any vehicle. That is, you have the option that you can continue with the research area in which you have got your PhD degree, or you have the freedom to choose any other allied area, and you can contribute and make your bit in promoting research and development of the institute you belong to. So far as the learning processes he has spoken about, I think it is a matter of great satisfaction that teaching learning with blackboard or whiteboard, of course, is a age-old practice. It is of course going to be there for all times to come. But the aids which have come up with the technological revolutions, I think we all have to prepare ourselves and prepare ourselves to learn these techniques so that we are not left behind so far as the academic race or promotional race is concerned. He has spoken about the faculty development programs. Well, that is one point I would like to call upon my faculty at RNTU There is no point attending 4 or 5 or 6 FDPs in a year rather than doing one FDP qualitatively in a offline mode. Just gathering certificates for promotional avenues is something he has already spoken about, not a good criteria. Do less, learn less, but whatever you learn, try to promote it and deliver it back, and so that it generates knowledge and the overall ecosystem of the institute gets benefited. There, Professor Sancheti has touched upon the institutional parameters which require a critical thinking being the major part of evaluation process. So far as NAC is concerned, I think you all have been related to various criteria of NAC assessment, and once the SSR is prepared, lot of job is supposed to have been finished so far as the preparation for the NAC goes. And since we still have some time, I think the time is quite ripe that you all tighten your belts and seek some assistance from the Internal Quality Assurance Office, what all you can do to make the process much better, so that data taking and the input that has to go in the preparation for NAC assessment becomes better. So with there is lot he has spoken about. I think it requires series of lectures to touch upon the points he has spoken about. Thank you, Dr. Sancheti, for a wonderful exposition, and I am indeed very happy that you have accepted our invitation and have helped our faculty from different universities of AISECT group to have benefited from. Thank you so much, Dr. Sangeeta, to take over.
I request Sanjeev sir to please be on dice, and Padmesh sir as well. So, as mentioned, yes sir, that's what I was saying. As mentioned in the schedule, anybody who would like to have any questions, the forum is open for 5 minutes. Any faculty member, offline, online. If there are attendees online, they have any question, you can please type in chat box, and I request Archana ma'am to please facilitate this process. If there is any question in chat box, and सर ने इतना कुछ बताया, कुछ सवाल तो आने बनते हैं, एंड फोरम ओपन है, आप पूछ सकते हैं. उस पार्ट को रिकॉर्डिंग से एडिट कर देंगे, ऐसा कोई सवाल अगर आपको लगता है जो कि आपको ऑफलाइन मोड में पूछना है. सो प्लीज कम फॉरवर्ड, एनी क्वेश्चन, एनी रिमार्क्स, एनी क्यूरियोसिटी इन योर माइंड.
अगर आपने सवाल नहीं पूछा तो उस सवाल का जवाब देना पड़ेगा जो सर ने आपसे पूछा है. Any question, please?
हाँ, सर ने भी एक सवाल पूछा था सर.
There is one question there.
Hello sir, my name is Sanjana Trivedi. I am from law faculty, and I don't have a question, but I just would like to answer the question you asked.
Very good.
Sir, you said how to improve the class performance. So I was also a student like 6 months back. So I would say that we can include some activities or active participation of students so that they can learn by those means. Because always giving lectures don't serve that purpose, but other activities can help them. And the most important thing is we should also encourage them to be involved in physical activities and also take care of their mental health. because during exams we often ignore our health, and which is like the most important.
Very good. I think that's an answer from uncluttered mind, young mind, who's inhibited in that sense that she can do something. Good attempt. I'll anyway try to give you a slightly different answer later, but what you said is engagement should be improved upon, and that's the line I would like to follow later. I'll explain you, but thank you, sir.
This session a success, and studio team Sanju Bhaiya and other team members who have always there with to help us, sir. Thank you very much for coming to this university second time, sir. I was also there. I was not remembering that, but sir, thank you very much for giving this session, sir.
I request the dais to please proceed for a group photograph.